Hey, welcome back to part 26 of the IRC Bot and C from Scratch series. I just realized that yesterday the video had no sound recording. And I thought I'd check that this time around before I got started. Um, yeah, there's a lot of ground to cover in regards to that. Uh, so first and foremost, I apologize that there was no sound uh, previous episode. And uh, secondly, I need to explain my absence again. I tried to explain it the last one, but clearly that didn't get recorded. So anyway, let's see. 1 week I got caught up in doing personal things. The week after that, I got sick and I couldn't talk at all. It was horrible. And the week after that, I overcommitted to doing um, practice problems for a high school competition, so I didn't have a chance to stream. And then, not that I'm in high school, I was just trying to write the solutions for the students to compare their solutions against. And then I also, well, the week before that, I did some traveling, so that's why I wasn't around. I thought I was missing something there, and then here we are now this week, restarting the stream. Um, okay, well, with that said, no one really missed much from the previous part, just because I was, um, well, yesterday's recording was mostly about me trying to reinvestigate the code, try to set up uh, the message bus, and then adding in handlers for handling your messages. So I went ahead and did that last part and came up with two functions here, which I have globally defined because I want to be able to bring my Elasticsearch stuff into these functions pretty trivially for the sake of this recording. Then I went on to a rant about how I like refactoring and I dislike people who don't refactor their code for job security reasons. And that's kind of where I left off yesterday. So I just established some variables, allocated 5 listeners to my message bus, establish those functions here, and then try to get the Elasticsearch calls going. And then while I was prepping for this part, not only did I make sure that sound was working again, but I also found like some pretty alarming things in my code here. As a matter of fact, I don't necessarily want to do like an undo, but have you ever had like one of those moments where you realize you did something completely stupid? I definitely had that moment just minutes ago while I was reading through this code because I was trying to debug this issue I had, which is not expressed here any longer, but essentially it boiled down to this from the last episode. I tried to do some curl requests, and I kept on getting 400 errors back, and I went ahead and opened up pod to see what was going on, and turns out that was expected behavior. But then as I was looking at that, I discovered these alarming things, which I'll pull up the code just to demonstrate how bad this actually was, and I apologize for ever have written it in previous episodes when I first started going on with this Elasticsearch stuff. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that. So mainly the issue I was looking into is my connection function here, and I noticed some pretty alarming things. First of all, like I should be checking for null on this connection before I try doing any of this stuff. And then on top of that, I realized that I was like freeing the connection before I was like removing the base URL. Like, what's up with that? And then cleaning it up. Like, I haven't even established that 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 curl was initiated to begin with. At least not until here. So I basically cleaned this up, and then again here, like I'm freeing the connection before I'm releasing that. And on top of that, I'm doing the copy all the way down here before the init, which I guess kind of makes some sense because I don't create that URL or place that URL in until a bit later. But I don't know. Even still, though, like, it was just a mess, and I truly apologize for ever have written that code. So with that said, I went ahead and briefly kind of fixed some of those mistakes. I'm checking for null now because this malloc could return null. I'm freeing the connection if the, and not the full connection, just the connection struct, after, or if the pre-allocation for the URL fails. Then I go ahead and copy that URL over, do my init, and then if that fails, then go ahead and switch the ordering of this to where I free the URL and then free the connection. And then also I clean up this bit a little bit too. Like, I realized that in production I may not want to have no body turned on, so I went ahead and turned that off, and I removed some curl options here in the block of code here. I had no better way to describe that. I'm just going to go ahead and move this up so that it's clear what I'm trying to do here. Now, the only reason why I'm moving that up here is because this is a provided pointer, so might as well just go ahead and keep it all nice and neat up here as opposed to all the way down here where something can get missed. And then next, I took a look at the part of the reason why I was getting that 400 error. Well, okay, so taking a step back, I realized that previously in a previous episode, I went ahead and I changed the actual setup of my Elasticsearch document and index. So I added a channel, excuse me, item to that where I set that to be a keyword, and I set the username to be a keyword too, so I can search for it within, well, whenever I decide to create a query for it. Anyway, so this is going to return a 400 request, and I went ahead and moved this ugly code from right here up a little bit further and did some indentation so I can see it a little bit better, and then changed everything within here to reflect that. But then I realized that, well, maybe I don't want to use this function ever because it's going to return a 400 error because I already have the index built, and I don't necessarily think I want my IRC bot to build that index for me. I'd rather build that on my own time outside of this bot even, so I can tweak it and do whatever else I need to do to it as needed without having to recompile code. So I think for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just not even use that and assume that the Elasticsearch index and document exist. If they don't already, the insert function will definitely catch that for us. So to start off tonight, I was going to go ahead and try to do some cleanup in here at least to make things a little bit cleaner and to also kind of get everything all packaged and ready to go such that when I finally do receive a message from IRC, it will go ahead and insert that message into Elasticsearch. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start there. Now, probably the first thing I'm going to do is definitely clean this up a little bit. All those Uncle Bob or Martin Fowler fans out there might be screaming at me not to put this embedded language embedded into my function calls specifically, but I think for right now that is fine, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to name this as payload, so that way I can keep it a little bit clearer on what's being sent. I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste some of this stuff. So that way I can do some indentation so things look at least a little bit better. Now, the thing that's missing from this insert is definitely like the message that I'm trying to insert into it. I think I decided last part that I wasn't going to try to break out this Elasticsearch wrapper into anything more than what it should be. And since this is pretty application specific, I will probably keep it that way. So instead of trying to do, and I mentioned this last part, but no recording, but what I was going to do is ignore the idea of finding and installing some JSON library to turn some struct into a JSON object. I'm just going to ignore that and go ahead and kind of just hard code everything in here. So just looking at my API a little bit, I realize I'm passing in an index name and a document name. I think I'm going to remove that part of the API. And, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm using it, yeah, so maybe I'm using it to build that URL, but maybe I don't need to. Well, I don't know. I'll just leave it in there for now. And get going on actually trying to pass in a message into this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Or struct IRC message. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking I might want to move this stuff up to the actual search struct, so that way I'm not having to deal with that here. Yeah, why don't I go ahead and do that? That's a good idea. Better to do it now than later, in case I forget. Go ahead and keep that there. When I allocate this, I'm going to want to pass that stuff in. So let me change that API up just a little bit. I don't know why I'm passing in the URL here either. This is all kinds of weird. I'm so sorry. This is like horrible. You can tell that a whole lot of thought went into this. That was me being sarcastic in case that didn't get picked up upon. So we'll go ahead and pass in the document index and name there. Pass in the connection and the message there for the, at least for the create index if not exists. Right, I don't need that. I just need the connection. But I might just delete that function entirely. Honestly, don't need it. We'll go ahead and fix that there. So we have the IRC message being passed in on the insert. The disconnect will do the disconnecting. This will do the connecting, and this will do the deallocation of the search. Whereas the disconnect will do the deallocation of the connection. Okay. Go ahead and remove this crazy API. Sweet. Okay. And then so now I need to add those two pointers here because they're going to be passed in. Oh, by the way, forgot to mention that my desk is kind of in disarray right now, so I'm back to my laptop, sitting on my couch doing this again. So I need to do my allocations. So let's see here. I think I'll just do them all at the same time. So so what do I call this variable? Search, and then document name. Well, we'll start with the index. Index name. We'll do a char pointer to malloc size of char times strlen of the index name. And we'll just copy and paste that for the document. I feel like the underscore name is a little bit redundant, so I'll just go ahead and, well, no, never mind. I'll be explicit. And then we'll change that to document name. If this allocation failed, I'm just going to go ahead and nix the whole thing. I shouldn't receive any error for deleting a pointer that is null in this case. I could be wrong. And then we're going to go ahead and free the search. Return null. Otherwise, everything's going to be hunky-dory. But before I do that, I need to do the actual copy. So str, how do I do this? I don't want to do strn copy. I just want to do str copy. Get the whole thing. Search index name. Cool. So now that those are all allocated, I'll go ahead and move the base URL component up a level, I think. No, maybe I should keep it. Because this will serve as the base URL here, which is fine. Yeah, I think I'll keep everything the way it is up to this point, because it's here where that URL actually matters, where I do the appends. So connection should contain a pointer to search. So let's see here, it will be connection, and then this will have the search, and then we'll do index name, and then we'll do the connection search document name. I don't know what this null is for. Let's see what we got here. Oh, anything additional. Okay. So we have our URL. This is still saying it's incorrect. What's bad about that? Conflicting types for... Well, what's the conflicting type? Something tells me I misspelled something. What? I don't think that has anything to do with it. I wonder if I have IRC message even exposed. Yeah, I do have it exposed, so that's cool. Am I including it? No, I am not. Go ahead and do the forward declare up here. Cool. and then never used. Okay, so that apparently that got rid of that error. Okay, probably because I didn't have IRC message forward declared. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now that that's all done, let's see what I can actually do about this insert. I think everything is probably set up the way I already want it. I'm always freeing the URL and freeing the headers. Perfect. Sweet. Let's see here. I think I have everything that I want to do there as well. Okay, so now it should just be a matter of constructing that payload. I'm going to check comments real quick on the site. Nope, nothing. Sweet. Let's see, where was I? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and insert a record. Clearly my paw test is missing the channel, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in there. Let's see. Channel, and I think this channel is named this right here, flolz test, which I already have right there. That ain't right. Okay, so go ahead and put that there. Change the name to the name of the bot, which should be this right here. And then just some random. Okay, and then hopefully this sends. And if I do a query, I have a hit, and it is what I was looking for. Cool. Now I need to translate that. So I think the best way to do that would be to kind of just take a quick gander at my struct there, and all I'm missing is the channel, which is pretty nice. Got to do these crazy string things here now. I just realized something. One thing I didn't consider is how to do string concatenation in C. I have never done that before. So what's nice in like languages like C#, I can just like interpolate the values of the message struct into here, and that should be a-okay. But here I do need to do some string concatenation operations, and it looks like my best chance of that is strcat. Oh boy, that's got to be obnoxious. No, I have a much better idea. Okay, yeah, I could, yeah, what am I thinking? Like, maybe I should have done this down here too. My idea is to not do any of this crazy ass crap. There should be a function. Oh gosh, what is the name of it? It's like printf, but it returns a string instead. Drawing a quick blank, but I'll do a quick Google search after I do my format replacements in here. Gosh dang it, I don't know why I didn't think to do that for the dang URL. Maybe it's because I had all the slashes in place and I wanted to append them if they didn't exist, which seems like the reasonable thing that I did down here. Yeah. Let's do the format, and then let's see here. What is it? sprintf, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then I can just put the format in there, not that auto-completed. And then I should just be able to replace those variables with what I want. So in this case, it will be message command. I don't even know if I'm keeping track of the username, honestly. I think that's part of the prefix. Which is probably what I intended. And then the next one is going to be part of the command. Now we can get multiple parameters, so I didn't think this far into it. Yeah, what do I do about that? Let me run my, no, I'm not going to run my tests. Well, I can at least look at my test suite to kind of get an idea. I wonder if I put in a test to kind of solve a bug at some point, and whether or not that included the channel name. Doesn't look like it. Alright, easy enough. We can go ahead and run a quick test to see what's going on. So let me make this compilable first. Get that all going. Oh, we have an error. Go ahead and comment that out. Oh, we have another error. Oh, right. I also made mention last episode that I've been spelling the name of Elasticsearch wrong all this time. I forgot that it's supposed to be one word. So I have a little to do to remind me to do that. Just comment out all this stuff. Sweet. Okay. Go ahead and run a quick test. So at this point, only private messages should be showing up in our testing here, because in the last part, I limited what gets passed in right here. And it doesn't look like that a channel is necessarily mentioned. Okay, so it looks like there is a channel. No, wait, no, that's my username that wrote the message. So we are keeping track of that. And this would be the second part of the command. So let's see here. So we have the username and we have the message, but no channel. So I think what I might do is I think I might add another parameter to this where I'm passing in the channel in which it occurred. Oh wait, no, sorry, excuse me. This is the channel, this is my username. Wow, I completely screwed that up. Okay, so it looks like for the prefix, we have that pulling out. Let's see here, and then the channels along with the messages, and I think I will just use that to do things. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Okay, yeah. So this will definitely be in our prefix as our username and extract out the channel. So we're going to make an assumption here. that the first parameter is going to be our channel. So how do I want to model that? It could be a bad assumption, but it seems pretty safe right here. Actually, let me go ahead and look up the spec real quick on that, because I feel like that might be an important thing to look at. IRC specification. Let's have a look-see here. Private message. Message target. Okay. Or channel name. Okay, so I can make, okay, so it's either to a username or to a channel name, and I can make a very good assumption that that's going to be the first parameter. So we're going to do parameters, and then I think all I need to do is just type in 0 there. Let me check my API real quick in regards to that. Let's see, IRC message. Okay, so we have our parameters. It's going to be the 0, 1, and then the parameter is going to have a value. So that's going to be our message, datetime created. I'm definitely not extracting any of that information out, but I think it's a part of my, yeah, datetime created. So I don't know how that's exactly is going to work in the context of this here. I might have to do some copy and paste some code over from the main function that does something with that. I'll just put a little comment there to do that. Well, maybe not a comment. Yeah, screw it. I'll just leave a comment there to remind me. And then lastly, our channel. So that'll be the first one. And that will be our message. Okay, and then the date. So I forgot that there's like something funky I need to do with the date. Yeah. I'll go ahead and copy and paste that in here to yeah, I don't know why, but whoever designed that API, and I kind of ranted about that in a previous episode, where I didn't exactly agree with the thought process behind the API developers to put a trailing line break at the end of that time string. Like, that didn't make much sense to me. Okay, wait, am I using this function right? Probably need to allocate that and assign memory. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and Google that real quick. Oh, okay. I see how I'm using this incorrectly. That makes sense. Oh, but I need to buffer it. Oh, shit. It's kind of hard to do if you don't know the This might be a better function, snprintf. That might be safer to use, but again, it assumes a buffer that we need to be able to calculate, which I might be able to do. No, because then I have to, that's a bad assumption, because I can calculate what it's going to be based off of these. These I have the length for. The rest of it I do not. But I can easily do a string length minus, let's see, 1 or 2, 4, 6, 8 characters, and then add on the length of all these. Which is a lot of work. Okay, maybe I'll just go with it. Let's just go this. Alright, so we're going to do, whoops, in the spirit of keeping things consistent, I'm going to underscore that. So let's see here, we need the strlen of format minus 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, then we need to add on to that the length of the time string plus the message prefix length plus the message command parameters 1 length plus the message command parameters of 0 length, which I'm going to go ahead and swap those two to make it a little bit easier to read, even though it's kind of going off the screen there. A semicolon. So this should do the trick. Get the format minus 8, which I don't know if it replaces those anyway, so anyway, time is string plus length. I think I'll just go ahead and ignore that for now. That seems a bit safer. Give us a little bit extra wiggle room. Alright, so no, it's not sprint and F. What did I name it as? Or what's it named as? Oh, SN print F. Okay, so we're going to do SN print F. And then go here. I'm going to check the comments real quick. Oh, nope, no comments. Cool. Alright, so we're going to have the buffer. Alright, so we need to allocate our string real quick, which I called payload, so I need to do that. For length, cool. And then I'm going to go ahead and pass in these things. So we're going to pass in the payload, and then we're going to pass in the buffer length. And that ought to do that. Now, what if this allocation doesn't happen? I'll just forcefully return false, which seems like a very appropriate thing to do. And I'm just remembering that ASC time or GM time may not necessarily be thread safe. I remember reading that I remember reading up on that at some point. Let's see here. I'll need to free the URL, and I would need to free the headers at this point. But I can get around that simply by doing these things after we get the allocation. And I'm just going to go ahead and move variables up to the top in proper C spirit. Okay. And that way, if anything goes wrong, we're okay. And then now that that's all buffered and inserted in, go ahead and replace the values with what we need. And I think this function might be good to go for some actual testing. Let's see how am I doing on time. I have an unstable Twitch. Oh boy. I believe that. I've been at this for 42 minutes. Okay. Sorry guys if I'm cutting out. I have AT&T internet, and I might be being throttled right now, which is never good. Okay. Gotta love that sweet old awesome net neutrality stuff. Not to get political or anything. No, I totally mean to get political. Net neutrality is awesome. I don't know why we just don't have that. All right, what did I call this? I think I called it IRC, my index elastic IRC. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and copy and paste that so I can get in here real quick. All right, so we're going to establish that. Cool. And then we're going to pass in the document, proof message. Oops. Cool. I just realized I didn't need to do a copy of these, but it's really good that I did. I prefer a copy in this situation. Cool. Go ahead and fix that URL or that name there, which I have that defined up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that as a control or function shift. Do that quick refactor. Show usages. Oh. Yeah, just in main. Like, no. Okay, never mind. That was a bad choice. Just go ahead and do that manually. Actually, I think I have a command already set up for that to kind of find all those. Do I have command D set up? Yeah. Oh, nope. See, it's going to get a string that I don't want. Cool. Alright, so we pass in our document and our index, or index and then document. We pass in our URL that we're connecting to. Cool. We'll deallocate if it's not established. Otherwise, continue on with execution. Cool. Why is this highlighted? Oh. Quick correction there. Yeah, there's subtle bugs that can occur if you're comparing an int to a size t, which is an unsigned long maybe? I don't remember, but it's a good thing I cleaned that up there. So in this here, we've already established that we have a working and running command. So I'm just going to do Elasticsearch connection. Nope, sorry. Elasticsearch insert. And then we're going to have the Elasticsearch connection, which I didn't rename that at all. And then we're going to pass in the message. And that should be it. If I understand this correctly. Oof, I need to find all instances of that too. Perfect. Other than that first one. There we go. Actually, I think I'll just rename this again to kind of shorten that up a little bit. Cool. All right. Let's do a quick compile. Let's make sure everything's a-okay. Ooh, did I forget a semicolon? I forgot a semicolon. This is unused. Okay, that's fine. I don't know if I did this yet. I should probably, in my CMake, real quickly add a compile flag for, okay, so I have W extra in there, so that's perfect. Okay, just making sure. All right, let's go ahead and run it and see what we get. I hope this works. We might get some nasty curl messages if everything decides to break on me. Okay, well, I was right about that. It'd be nice to know what happened. See where it says called right here? I can actually see what happened with that. I think at this point user data might be string. At least I'm pretty sure. Unless the buffer is. Maybe the buffer, I don't know. I don't know how the curl write command works. I'd have to Google that. Any chats? Nope. Okay. I'll just copy and paste that from the site so that way I know what. Oh, wait, no. Maybe I purposefully named it buffer. Okay. Okay, so the buffer's already being passed in and it's giving me a size and among other things. I should probably read that at a later time. Let's just see what it looks like. This could be bad. Wait, why did I do void buffer? Should be char pointer. Yeah, what the hell? Okay, well, at least it's sending us back something. Unquoted character? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's actually get this into a readable format if I could copy it, which it is not letting me easily do so. There we go. Okay, that was easy to do. Hopefully nothing's embarrassing going on there. Nope, nothing's embarrassing going on there. JSON, okay. What would I call this? I could have sworn I had like a function or something pretty. Pretty JSON. We'll go ahead and install that. Okay, and then JSON. Pretty JSON. No. Okay. Illegal character, unquote character. Line 1, column 79. What the hell? Whatever. This will be a good stopping point anyway. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. This will be episode 26. Yeah. And I will have it uploaded to YouTube this weekend. Tonight's commits will be 2018. And as always, the YouTube channel and the GitHub repository, or at least my GitHub page, is listed down below. This code base is specifically called Elastic IRC _ bot, something like that, or to that effect. Hold on, I can actually just pull it up right here. Oh, Elastic IRC bot. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow.